Glyphosate, a topic of conversation. It's been one that's been maligned on one side. On the other side, it's a product that enables us to, in dryland farming areas, grow massive crops to feed the world's population. Here's the latest. Belgium, which banned glyphosate, or Roundup as we may all know it, they've got a weed problem suddenly. According to the Brussels Times, Belgium has got a weed problem following the discontinuing of Roundup in the country and using other weed killers which just simply aren't getting the job done. Now, the National Farmers Federation say no pesticide has been tested for carcinogenic properties more heavily than Roundup, but it's approved for use by the APVMA because no substantive concerns exist. In the past 3 years alone, the National Farmers say on their webpage, regulatory authorities in the European Union, South Korea, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Canada and the United States have publicly reaffirmed that exposure to glyphosate does not cause cancer, and I quote. This hasn't stopped the Victorian Green Senator Janet Rice lodging Senate motions over and over again trying to ban Roundup. Now, her motions calling for a formal review into glyphosate have been defeated in the Senate. But the ABC has also been looking at this topic on the back of the banning of glyphosate in Vietnam more recently. However, there is no risk for our exporters as there are no risks of residual glyphosate on our export grain, and that grain growers are confident about glyphosate even despite the Vietnam ban. So what do you think? I mean, are we here, regurgitating again and again? Does at some point in time, like, say, on the social issues policies that we've in more recent years undergone, where people continue to persist and suddenly it gets done in Parliament in a time or a generation at a later point? And sometimes we can call that progress. In other cases, it may not be progress, even though the political movement of the time said it was progress. And maybe glyphosate and also nuclear energy could be in those couple of things. Depends on who you speak to, depends on what their viewpoint politically might be. But ultimately, the scientific research at this point in time has failed across all those member nations that I've just read out to find the evidence to stop using glyphosate on our crops. But there is a need for persistent scientific and rigorous scientific testing and research, and I think we all should participate in that at the same time. Grain Growers Chairman Brett Hosking said there are always rumours, and there have been, about Vietnam looking to ban the chemical. They're a really valuable trading partner, and so we respect their right to make decisions about how they manage things like glyphosate. But there is already a standard around the world for residual limits, and all grain exported out of Australia is tested, and we know very confidently that the grain we export meets those thresholds for residues. There it is. Again, that's what we hear from the industry, but again, we'll see where this discussion does end up.